Hi everybody, my name is Lasha, and you reached the channel High Voltage. I'm actually sitting in the bathroom on the floor with my back against the tub, and there's a fan going, and it's a little after midnight, and it's very early Monday, April the 28th of 2025. So, where do I start? So, the whole point of this live tonight, if you've never been to High Voltage before and you want to know what the intent, goal, like the intent and the goal of the channel is, you'll have to refer to the videos. There's so many videos that explain why the channel is here, why I started it, why it's a non-donation charity, and why would I want to monetize to help other people, right? Well, in part, it's a total projection of myself, right? At first, when I started Lasha Rojenko, and you know what? Thank you for the 97 people that are still on that channel, because if you're still attached to that channel, you still have access to High Voltage on the community page. And I started that channel March the 23rd of 2023. Yeah. And a family member helped me with a computer so I could start the channel. And oh gosh, I would have been 51 when I started it. I'm 53 now. So, long story short, so we move, and the Lasha Rojenko channel I can only access on the computer for lives. So I started L&L Soul Sisters. I didn't know what I was doing. Are you kidding me? Didn't have a clue. All I knew is I wanted to share something that I went through in the medical field, medical malpractice, and help other people, but I didn't know how to do that, right? So my aunt, my godmother, always used to say, if you're going to complain about something, then do something about it, right? So, you know when she said that to me? When I went to Mexico, and I felt guilty being there because I was completely unaware of the poverty, and it upset me. But then at the same time, it's a lot of their economy is tourism and other things I'll get into later on, and I have a lot to say about that. The Martel, I'm just giving you history. So then that phone got full, and we moved back to where I started the channel originally. That was a long story. And I started this one. However, now I don't know how Trevor remembers this. He is the moderator and the manager of this channel. He said, I found your channel December the 26th of 2023. And his channel is called Trevor's Life in Legos. He does free editing for people. He's really good. And, oh, I think my mother's awake. At any rate, so I started this channel because I wanted to help people, right? And then I thought, okay, if I monetize 2/3 of what I earn, I'll be able to change the legislation. I'll put up a petition on change.org. I can make a difference. And it didn't happen the way I thought it would. So I guess you can say this is grassroots activism, as it were. I don't know. Anyway, so today what I wanted to talk about was how I changed from, have you ever worked for an American company? Anybody out there? Well, I don't know if you watch the Sean Atwood channel. Sean Atwood had a guy who worked for Harvey, you-know-who's team. And he recorded Rose McGowan and him talking. And they played it on the Sean Atwood channel, and I was listening to the first 15 minutes, and then listening to how he manipulated and mirrored so she would give certain information. And then I thought, I don't even want to listen to this. Why? Because whatever we expose ourselves to leaves a spiritual imprint. It can be positive or negative. I do believe there is a spiritual fight, as it were, right now between good and evil. And I want you all to remember something about quote-unquote influencers. Jay-Z. Does anybody remember Khalif? And I feel terrible for not remembering his name. Khalif, was it Bo? And he passed away because he was in Rikers Island. And his teenage brain, it was terrible. He was on The View. Rosie O'Donnell used to be the host. And Jay-Z said he believes certain people are prophets, and that Khalif was a prophet. Well, I don't hear Jay-Z talking about prophets or Khalif now, do you? And I don't need to talk about what's going on with that. So, I'm trying to say very softly, with a very sore back, is that faith, nothing, I got into, okay, I got on a tangent. It's not just American companies. What's the difference between a cult and a culture, right? When you think about, okay, I worked for a company that was very much like a cult, and I used to run around for this company. I gave my life to this company because I was a workaholic. You know, it's life is interesting. I used to have one control issue, and I got out of it without thinking about it, without getting help, and I just turned it into workaholism. And I'll never forget my ex-husband said to me, if you ever lose that job, you are not going to know what to do with yourself. He said, if you put as much energy into our marriage as your work, and that was 17, 18 years ago now. And I remember he said, you might not think of it now or in 10 years, or he said, but one day you will. I understand now. Before I go on about faith, I want to say something. Nobody is a victim or a survivor. I don't really believe that, because this sounds to me really weird. So I start change.org. I leave little breadcrumbs throughout videos to explain, because they say that everybody who joins your YouTube channel usually joins because of the first impression you make on a video. But they also have to be interesting. Like, my voice is about as interesting right now as the pain in my back. But anyway, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I find it so easy to look in the mirror and point out what's wrong. I'm so well aware of that. The mistake that I make, if you have problems maintaining relationships, which people with ADHD can have that problem, or people with a lot of anxiety, that sort of thing, or people who procrastinate, or people who are wishy-washy, because then you're not perceived as responsible. And it's like this guy that I knew. He was fantastic in every way. You think the guy could ever be on time? Never. He was on Cayman Island time, you know, siestas at 2 in the afternoon, wait for the guy for 4 hours. You know, every time you call him, yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Anyways, so I started this channel because I really, truly wanted to make a change, and it came from a place of anger. If you go back and watch some of my earlier videos, I'm pretty shy at first, but then whenever I smoked marijuana, I get really lippy and silly. Some of it's pretty funny, but it depends on how you feel about that. So I was just thinking, if we don't talk a mile a minute either, people don't listen. So, just wanted to say, you can't live off of anger. You can't live off of projecting. You can't do things because you want good karma. can't preach. Like, I love Candace Owens. She is a preacher. She inspires me, actually. Quite. Except when I met her husband online, my perception changed, and I'm not ready to share it yet, but I know that I'm right, but I'm not saying it. Anyways, so my faith in the universe. I started this as a projection of my needs. And then I really started to think about everything and how if that was the intent going forward, that's an intent of ego, pride, and inner satisfaction. The more people that signed up to the channel and the more I would try to do, because I think some people saw the potential of what I was doing, cognitively I wasn't there because I was too trapped in my own rage. And the only person who can make a victim out of yourself is you. However, I'll never deny there are circumstances in life we can't control. And it's okay to reach for help. Just make sure you ask the right person. Because true sharing isn't about sharing what you do. The only reason that I'm sharing that this community shares is because this is a non-donation charity. That's all. So out of all of that anger, which really just stemmed from what's the root cause of everything? Negative? Fear. Like fear, darkness, fear. So it was actually my doctor who really got me thinking about my faith. Because prior to that, my God was work, my paycheck, living in Vancouver. There was a lot of vanity. I found I was changing physically into somebody new, improved, but I didn't feel good about it. So, I don't remember the date. It was in, I think it was October. See, I should remember the date of this. I know when it was. It was when Sophie left Concord for 6 weeks. And I had a hole in my heart when my dog was gone. And I thought, what would it be like if I lost her tomorrow? She's still alive. I had never felt pain like that in my life. And my dog was fine. She was up north having a great summer. But my heart broke because I was being selfish. So instead of doing positive things, I cried for 2 weeks while my dog was having a great time. But it taught me a lesson. It prepared me for Sophie's final passing, January the 29th of 2025. So while Sophie was away and I was feeling rather sorry for myself, I was alone on the balcony. All of a sudden I just started to cry. Nothing had changed. Diet, medication, nothing. Vitamins, had my coffee for the day. I wasn't drinking or anything. And I just felt this love. And it lasted for about, it felt like an hour, but it was probably 2 seconds. And I knew that God loved me. Whatever God you believe in. So that's what I wanted to share today, even though my voice sounds as depressing as all get out. Okay, that's all I have. Good night, everybody. God bless. It's Sunday. Oh, if you have a story that you want to tell, I don't usually tell stories like this that sound this boring. However, I think I'll just put it on the community page for now. Okay. Thanks for listening, whoever does, and God bless you.